My whole thing is that one thing, we've got to develop a young audience, because everything being against us, the average youngster knows nothing about jazz and doesn't care to know anything about it, and quite prejudiced against it without ever hearing it or anything like that. They don't like us and they haven't heard us, and that's really a drag.
Wess is a strong and deep lover of music.
He's like a disciple.
A saint.
He's the connection between the past and the future.
He knows the music, and he has a wonderful way of giving it to people who want to learn.
To keep you of the flame. I always call him Dr. Bob.
He called me the other day. I said, "What are you doing?" "Practicing, man."
You know what a doctor is. He cures all ailments. So Barry cures all bebop ailments.
He's so honest and truthful, and he has a deep belief and conviction about this music. I'd say probably, I don't know, deeper than mine, but Barry is just...
I think he's one of the most truest people to his art that I've ever met in my life. Well, Cannonball was a good friend of mine way before he was famous, when he first came to New York. And after Barry Harris got with Cannonball, he left. But I didn't know why he left. Nobody, I just knew he left. And when I met Cannonball the next time, man, he said, "Locke," I said, "What?" He said, "Barry Harris quit." I said, "You gotta be joking." He said, "Yeah, man, he brought his uniform and turned it in." And I said, "Barry, what's the matter, man? What did I do?" He looked at me and said, "Y'all are not playing nothing." That Cannonball said, I laughed. I couldn't believe he said that. And that's where he was, though. Because they were playing the hits that they made. They made about 3 or 4 hit songs. Then you got to play them if you make them. And but Barry didn't want to do that.
His mind is incredible. He can take a melody and the chords will go, okay, he's going in this, now how's he going to get out of that? And he'll find it just astound you, just all over. Every time I listen to him play, it just truly astounds me.
I know he's a giving man too, because I remember when he had this club, the Jazz Cultural Theater. I can't remember, was that in the 70s or 80s? Do you remember? Anyway, it was a place on 8th Avenue and 27th Street. A lot of classes and stuff there, but also musicians who didn't really have anywhere else to stay could sleep on the sofa all night. So he was sort of like a benefactor. I always thought whoever was mayor should have given him some kind of award for taking in the homeless, the downtrodden, and all of that, because he treated them all like real people who wanted to learn music.
Detroit, when I talked to him yesterday, he's going to do some school, college is in trouble, so he's going to do a benefit. I'm going to see if I can help him out. So he's always done something for the community, and ask Barry for anything. Barry, try to help you.
Someone I told him about a drummer that was 10 years old that's up in Hartford. And I don't know how he met the guy or what, but he invited him down. He paid his hotel for he and his family, this kid, and he played with us in the Vanguard, the last time we played in the Vanguard with him, We went up to Hartford to play, there's an outdoor kind of festival, and he played with us there. So he's trying to encourage young people constantly.
Well, evidently he comes from a good background where he understands people, understands life, and appreciates people.
He taught me really how to look at music and play movements and play through different tonalities, not just to play chords. And I think that's what he's a master at teaching. He's really a master at teaching people how to create phrases through different tonalities and play different movement. And when I teach my class, he recommended me for this job here at the new school about 12 years ago, and basically teaching his theory. And that's the way I teach it. I try to help the kids to get more comfortable at connecting lines through tonalities.
Let me ask you how you feel about the New York jazz scene, maybe the way it was when you began and the way it is now. And when you began was not that many years ago because you're a young man. What changes on the music scene, Barry, then?
Well, I think we're getting a few more clubs.
Right.
And, you know, I think it's all in trying to, I think now we have to start creating an audience. That's our main thing. You know, it's getting bad when your audience is as gray-haired as you are, you know. So now what I'm interested in mostly is in creating a young audience.
The jazz giant, and I do mean giant, named Barry Harris, who has played, I guess, with virtually every jazz giant.
Yes, I played with quite a few.
Could I mention a couple?
Well, Coleman Hawkins, I played with Max Roach.
How about Lester Young?
I played with Mingus. I played with Lester Young.
Whereabouts?
I played with Lester Young in a place in Detroit called the Rouge Lounge.
Was that one of the first times after you left home, Barry?
No, that was it. That was around Detroit. I was there. I was like the house pianist in this bar. And Lester Young was one of the stars that came.
Charlie Parker?
Oh, I sat in with him.
And any memory of Charlie Parker or Lester Young, anyone?
Well, Lester Young, the way he counted off the tempos was knockout. All he'd do is just move his shoulder like that, and that would be the tempo. And Charlie Parker, I'll say this, we were little young kids, and he let us sit in with him because his band hadn't shown up, and he was the most gracious, most beautiful person I think I've ever met.
Barry Harris, here comes the good news, has organized his own jazz courses. I read in the Times or the News or the Post that he is now known as Piano Professor Barry Harris. You got to tell me where and when, because I want to be in your class.
Two old geezers. That's right, two old farts, right?
So we had this little band, and we had a guitar player, a blues guitar player, man, they could stomp and make dust fly anywhere. And Barry had his band. We were on the Apollo, we were on the Paradise Theater, it was just like the Apollo. They had amateur night. So both of our bands were there. See, I didn't know Barry real good then, but I knew him. We were young, we were still in high school. So we played this, we got down to be the only two left. You know how they eliminate you. So now we're playing for the champions to get the reward. You know, it's, I think it's $25 or might have been $15 or something. You know. And Barry Harris, they hold a thing over your head when after we played. They hold and people clap. So when they held the thing over our head, people clap. When they held it over Barry's head, the place went crazy, screaming and hollering. See, he wasn't that much better than us, my God. And when they turned the lights on, he had his whole high school there. They all had sitting there with their high school sweaters on. I never forgot that as long as I live.